Good morning, all of you. How are you today? So, are you looking forward to the lesson?
Yes, we are.
As you can see, the topic for today is an introduction to multiple regression analysis. As I told you last week, this is the topic that follows, or that is a successor to linear regression. We finished with linear regression last week, so now we are moving on to this topic. Can any one of you tell me, this picture that you see, what is that? Or what do you think it represents? Take a guess. Any guesses are welcome. Anybody? Okay, correct. It's three-dimensional, very good. As you can see, there's a y-axis, which is the, what variable is that, the dependent or the independent?
Why is dependent?
Because y depends on two variables. There are two independent variables here, x1 and x2. So, these are the two independent variables, and y depends on these two. So what you have is a plane, and when we talk of regression analysis, we try to understand what are these points on the plane and how best can we predict them. So this was the introduction to the subject. So let's move on to the course outcomes. As I said, we'll be basically extending or moving on from linear regression. And as you remember, linear regression, we used to talk of only one independent variable. Here we will talk of two or more. And we will develop a model that fits data for two or more variables. Let's look at the lesson objectives. We have the lesson objectives for today are, first, understanding the relationship between the dependent and the independent variables, and understanding the meaning of qualitative independent variables, as well as understanding the implications of regression coefficients. I know right now it sounds like Greek and Latin, but you will understand what I'm talking about after you do the activity. So I would like you to form groups of 4 each, please. We'll have 4 groups in the class. This is a small activity we are going to do, and the instructions are very clear. Yes. Just groups of 4, please. Yeah. If you could come here, Mitra. Yes. So the instructions are that you have to find any 3 variables, independent variables that affect the dependent variable, and write it down on the board in the same format along with the table. I will give you 10 minutes.
What's the question? Can you read it?
Is that okay? Yes. We are talking of what? So what you could do is you could write it on the board so that it's easier and faster.
Are you writing the same on board for yours?
And then you have to also say if it's positive or negative.
That's the positive, right? Only the chance. No, just
How does it age positive and negative? Going plus and
The other one, do your projects and practical.
Are you
So once you're done with the course, you can write it on the whiteboard.
positive and negative.
Okay, how's it going here?
It's good.
finding.
So you have to write down just 3 variables and then write it down on the board.
Yeah, okay.
Do you need help?
He is affected. Greater is the most obese one, normal. Height effect. Exactly what's that. So what is the second? Let's make it simple. First is fat. That's all it's.
It's just very good.
Compound cells. These are qualitative.
So it is difficult to quantify.
This is the quantitative. This is easier. Greater you need, the more you are. We take the quantitative.
Just put positive for
What it is as opposed to negative. Is positive. This is it's a positive. Like if x variable increases, y it's a positive.
yeah, that's what I told. Yeah, not going down.
Make it simple. That's quantify it.
The number of hours of
Right. This is also. Well, you can assume.
So the
Yeah,
effective meaning is positive and non-positive.
Generally, take the whole population generally, as you age.
Maybe you can add one more.
So we agree on positive? Generally. What specifically is talking about? This is the kind of, this is also a contributing factor.
Oh, yes. Yes, right.
You're not willing to pay more for a house with a pool.
Either that or you say no, it's not. Either that or, if you say age is not a factor, not a contributing factor in your weight.
So let's, all positive variables, huh? I'll give you a negative one. So you have some negative.
Just generally. Just wait.
height is very good.
Weight is also you can, for ours is a good part. Simple height area.
Say positive. Yeah, we can present.
So you can call this positive.
More calories.
More calorie
You know, I can give you one negative variable, which is amount of time spent watching, number of hours spent watching TV in a week. That has a negative effect on the GP.
Take one negative.
So TV is usually at home. So you can say number of hours spent watching TV.
You know what?
We can talk about home as well. That affects the GP. I mean, if you want, just to give some variety.
If we can write that option here,
Because the problem is when you say application of technology, it's very difficult to quantify. Ideally, you should have a variable that can be quantified and that can be correlated.
So we have to quantify it.
So I would say, no, or you could write maybe number of hours on the internet. That has again a positive correlation. Whereas number of hours watching TV has a negative correlation. Yeah, ideally. Okay, great. That's also a negative number.
You want positive or negative?
Ideally, a mix. Very good.
Is that right?
Calorie intake.
So if you could just put this up here, please. They are done. Okay, once you're done, just put it up there so we can talk about it. So, 2 groups have finished. So as the third one, how about the fourth one? Okay. Okay, you just have to write it down there,
Yeah.
so that we can.
No, we should have.
This time I don't get it.
If you want to reduce the weight, you reduce the age.
It's okay.
No, it will. No, you have a very specific, you have a point. Can you hang it over there?
Just
It is just, but anyway.
Tell you could use the green one.
Thank you.
Please identify a spokesperson in each group who can come and tell us about the variables.
Oh, GPA. Class. Oh, each one of us.
Okay, so while Vitaly is writing, can we start with the first group, please? Mary, who's the spokesperson here?
Our group was assigned to analyze the effect of the variables on the house or the price of the house, considering the variables number of bedroom, meaning that the higher the number of bedroom or the more the number of bedroom, the higher the price of the house. The higher the square area of the house, the higher the price. The more the location is near to amenities, the higher the price. And we think that if the house has a swimming pool, it tends to decrease the price because of the tendency of the owner to think about the maintenance expense, the taxes, as well as if the family has small kids, it is quite dangerous for them to have a swimming pool, plus the maintenance of the swimming pool. So we think that it decreases the price.
Thank you, Mary. Hardeep, you want
Can
to
you
say?
explain GPA? What is GPA?
This is the grade point average, which you get at the end of the semester.
So I think some of us did not get what is GPA
Okay, I wish I'd asked you.
because they're talking about the factors which are not related to GPA.
It's okay, we'll talk about it, just give me a minute. So which is the second group now? Kevin, who's from your group?
Yeah, our question is, these three variables that affect the weight of an individual.
Okay,
So, like height affects positively.
okay.
Height increases, weight also increases. So we agreed on the exercise. If we do regular exercise, it can be controlled or it can be reduced, right? It's negative. And calorie intake, it has a positive effect
Okay, very good.
on the weight.
In fact, if you wanted to quantify it, you could have said number of hours of exercise per week.
Yeah, this is actually per week or per hour, yes.
Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, calorie intake is a very good one. So they have two positives and one negative. Well done. Which is the third group? Vitaly? You want to come in? Yeah.
So we were discussing the impact of different things on crop yield. So just the amount of products we got without discussing the quality and stuff. So rain, the amount of rain can be both positive and negative. You can see some Canadian fields covered in water, with water in lower places, so water is not always good if it's too much of that. Pesticides are always positive because the more pesticides, the less pests who eat crops. Same thing to herbicides. Acid rain was mentioned for industrial regions. It's pretty a big problem. Lowering the crop yield. Temperature also can be positive or negative, both too high or too low temperature, and chemical contamination also can contribute to this
Thank you,
to
Vitaly.
this process.
Thank you very much. So Vitaly was talking about the effect of various factors on crop yield. And as he said, rain can be either positive or negative. As you know, there's something called a threshold. So when we talk of multiple regression, we usually restrict our data to say a certain range. So we could talk about the range where it is positive. Similarly for pesticides, herbicides, acid rain is what is known as a qualitative variable. Can you tell me how would you quantify acid rain in a multiple regression equation? Anybody? Yes, tell us, Anwar.
Pollution influence the acid rate.
Correct.
So it is described as an acid value applicable for the industrial areas.
Yes, right. So, if you had to include this variable in your equation, say if it is x4 or x3, so what you could say is 0 stands for no acid rain, 1 stands for acid rain. And then the effect would be negative on the dependent variable, which is the crop yield. So this is how we look at variables and how we can quantify even a qualitative variable using 0 and 1. Yes, which is the next row? You're done? I think you're done.
Hello everyone. Our topic is very much related with all of our fields. We had to find out the variables which will affect a student's GPA. Our first variable, we found it at the class attendance and participation. More students attending a class and participating in the class, his or her GPA will be increasing. The second one is also has a positive effect. The students doing more projects and assignments will have positive effect on his or her GPA. It will be increasing. And we consider a negative variable, which is the working hours. We may have students doing the part-time jobs sometimes, or maybe depending on the program, a student can also do the full-time job. So more students will be focusing on his or her working hour, he or she will have a negative effect on his or her GPA.
Very good. Thank you. Yes. So for example, when you talk of class attendance, when you are making your multiple regression equation, say suppose if you are a teacher, Shamali, and you want to predict the students' GPAs, what you could do is you can talk of class attendance as a percentage. You could say 50% attendance, 80%, 100% and so on. Similarly, when you talk of doing projects and assignments, you could have say 0 and 1, 0 for students who never do any assignments, 1 for students who always do, and if your students in between, then maybe you'll have to think of a third variable. Similarly, working hours is easily quantified. That's a very good point because the more you work, the less time you can devote to your studies, so obviously your GPA is going to be affected. So thank you for your inputs. This was very nice. And we are going to go on to the next slide now. So when we talk of the general regression equation, can you see this, right?
Yeah.
This is the form the general regression equation takes. Can you tell me what is there at that end? Anyone? What does this look like? Yeah. What is this thing on the top? It's a hat, and it's called y hat. In statistics, we call this y hat, and y hat stands for anyone? Yes, Ekam, you can tell us.
Yeah, it's a independent variable.
Correct. And why is there a hat on the top? Yes, very good. Yes, Mary, go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, it is a predicted value
Right.
of that variable.
Yes, that's true. See, when we talk of a regression equation, we are trying to predict y based on these independent variables, which are x1, x2 up to xk. So when we are trying to predict, we do not call it y, we call it y hat, because it is a predicted value. Maybe it is very close to the actual value, but we can never be sure, so we call it y hat. So these are the independent variables. A is known as the intercept, and B1, B2 up to Bk are known as the regression coefficients. Now these regression coefficients, you must have got the hang of it after doing this activity, because when it's positive, it means it has a positive impact on y hat. When it's negative, it's got a negative impact on y hat. For example, if you're trying to predict, say, house prices, and if you have a variable, for example, when you talk of the swimming pool, which is a qualitative variable, So if I say 0, if for example I say 0 is no pool, right, and 1 is pool. So how do you think the B would look for that variable? Would it be negative or positive?
0 or 1.
Positive definitely.
No, if 0 is no pool and 1 is pool, that means having a pool would lower the price,
Yeah.
so the coefficient would be negative.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah? Yeah. So this is what I wanted you to understand, that you can have quantitative variables, you can have qualitative variables, but even the qualitative variables have to be quantified to make sense of the multiple regression equation. So, as many of you guessed, the basic idea of doing a multiple regression analysis is to be able to predict what is going to happen. But can any one of you tell me what is the difference between a prediction and a forecast? Anyone?
Prediction.
Yes. How do you say a prediction is different from a forecast? Okay, we'll give somebody else a chance. Anyone wants to try? Go ahead.
Forecast is depends on facts, right? But predictions is not.
Okay. You're quite close. Yes, Kevin, you want to try?
Forecast is, I think, based on trend.
Okay, very good.
You basically forecast depending upon the trend, like what happened in the past, or what happens in the future, right? So it's kind of based on trend. Prediction is based on, like, I think, I'm not sure, but then what happens to Y if X is, what happens to Y variable when the independent variable behaves in such a way? So that's prediction.
Okay, you're very close. Yes, Harmeet, you would like to
I'm
answer?
just guessing it, I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
So prediction is calculated and forecasting is with the instruments,
The opposite.
with the help of instruments.
Okay, wait, we'll just come to your answer. Yes,
I
Hannah?
think the opposite. I think the forecast is, they carry on sort of this multiple regression analysis, while in the prediction, anybody can predict what's, for example, now it's starting to be cloudy, so I could predict that it's going to be rain after 1 hour. Do you think so?
Yeah, all of you are very close. I will just explain what exactly it is. When you are doing a prediction, for example, if this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis, suppose your regression line looks like this. When you're doing a prediction, you base your prediction on the data that is available with you. You stick to the range that is there. So for example, if I say, for this value of x, this is my y, this is called a prediction. When does it become a forecast? When I extend my regression line and then I talk about something that is going to happen outside the range of data, that's called a forecast. So, I'll just finish, Harmeet. So when we talk of forecast, you know what is the best example of a forecast? Weather. Of course, weather. And we have what is known as time series data, where you are trying to talk about the future. So the future has not happened. It is something that's going to happen, that is outside your range of data. So you call it a forecast. And yes, even weather is, it's a very scientific way of predicting what is going to happen later, given what has happened in the past. Yes, Harmeet, you wanted to say something?
Do you mean that extrapolation and forecasting are same?
Yes, very true.
That's what.
Yes, you've got the right term for it. Forecasting is also known as extrapolation and predicting is known as interpolation, because we are sticking to the range that we already have. Okay, so let's proceed now. And I wanted us to solve a simple question and look at a regression equation. Just take a minute to read it, then we'll talk about it. So when we talk of y hat, we are talking of the predicted heating cost, which is based on 3 factors. One is the mean outside temperature, thickness of insulation, age of furnace. So do you think these signs are correct? There's a negative here, or positive here. Can anyone of you tell me if it's correct and why? Why would it be a negative or why would it be a positive? Anyone wants to try? Yes, Aikam, go ahead.
So for example, why is predicted heating cost
Right.
is positive to X3 because
Okay.
if the age of furnace is more aged, then the furnace predicted heating cost will be high.
Yes, very
The
good.
other two is negative because if the mean outside temperature is low,
Right.
that will be
Right, very good. And similarly with the thickness of the insulation. The more the insulation, less your heating loss. So now that you